All right, let's get to it. First thing I want to go over is the overall strategy. What is the overall strategy for this specific brand? The overall strategy we wanted to do is get as many people as possible to try as many different products. This brand, if you search them up in Body, they have 4 distinct products. Now, they're probably going to come up with more by the time you're seeing this, but they're sending, at the time they were, at the time before working with us, they were sending like, I think 2 to 3 emails a month, maybe a little bit more. So it was a very short amount of emails to try to promote every single one of their products. And they had 4 products. Now it's, it's not a lot of different products, 5, 10, 15, 20, but it's a decent amount. It's 4 different products that you're trying to promote in, 2 to 3 emails an entire month. So it is kind of hard. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to get people not only to know about the other products, but to try them out. So we also did that. We combined that like low barrier entry offer with the sale I'm going to go over, which was a Valentine's Day sale. But what we wanted to do, the overall strategy, is get as many people to try as many products out. Now, how did we do it? First thing I'm going to go over is the sending cadence. Sending cadence, we send 3 to 4 emails a week, and this one was a little bit hotter in the beginning of the month, as you could see. I mean, we were sending the 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 9th, 11th. I'm going to give a little context to that, but generally speaking, we wanted to send an email every other day. I mean, you're going to send, you're going to see later in the month, the 15th, 17th, 19th, 21, 23, 25, 27. And also, the green little dots that you see are just normal email campaigns. So, and then the VT is just a value statement. So whenever you see VT, 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 it's just a value statement piece of content. That's most of the content we send out for this month. Now, let me break down why we sent that many emails out and why you shouldn't do it if you're in certain context. My good rule of thumb, and it varies obviously brand to brand, but a good rule of thumb is if you have 5,000 profiles or higher and you're making over 25K a month in revenue for your direct-to-consumer online sales like Shopify, I would say send 3 to 4 emails a week, generally speaking, because that's a big enough list where, 3 to 4 emails a week is going to go to a good amount of people. 25K a month usually probably means that you have some type of acquisition channel that is set, whether it be Facebook ads, Google ads, UGC content, like TikTok Live. Although TikTok Live doesn't pair easily with email, but you can. You got to know how to do it. But the point is you have some type of acquisition channel. So that's what I would say. Now this brand, they're past that easily. So in this case, we're able to send 3 to 4 emails a week, and it's not that it's not bad for the brand. Now let me break down why we were able to send so many in this short amount of time. You're going to see from the 4th and the 7th. So on the 2nd, we sent a very regular email, 1 bottle, your whole NAD stack. They sell NAD plus product support, so that's what they sell. On the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, here's what we did. On the 4th, we wanted to do another value statement email just before we get to the VIP and there's normal sales. On the 2nd and 4th, 2 normal emails. Then on the 5th, 6th, and 7th, we hit them on 3 different emails on back-to-back days for the sale only. Now, if you did email like these 3 emails and they were only value statement pieces of content, it would not go well with the audience. Why? Because you're giving a lot of value. People aren't going to get annoyed. But if you send every single day to that person, it's going to be easier for them to get annoyed. But if you send 1 email every other day or every email every other every 2 days, with value, just pure value, they're not going to get annoyed. But if it's a sale, there's a point to sending those emails out. Like, for example, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we send an email literally every single day for essentially like 10 days straight. So it's very normal, in those days. But for Valentine's Day, we wanted to do it in this short amount of time. Another reason why is because something you got to know too is because if you're saying that, hey, the whole sale was like, hey, spend, I'll break it down, but essentially the angle we took for the sale was have a product for every moment in your Valentine's Day experience, right? So for Valentine's Day, you're going to have an NAD plus bottle, you're going to have testosterone support, you're going to have sleep support, and you're going to have focus support. Those are the four products. So you're going to have a product for every single piece, time of the day. Obviously, if we send an email right before Valentine's Day, imagine we did these 3 emails, we spaced them out a little bit longer, and it went all the way to the 13th or the 12th, they're not going to get the products in time. So obviously, we want to make that clear. On Valentine's Day, of course, we're going to send an email out, even though obviously it's not going to reach people the same day, but just for a Valentine's Day sale. But for Valentine's Day, we want to send it, a few weeks prior to that, so we have that shipping time so people could actually receive their orders. Let me break down the sale. Number 5, VIP email. So this is where we kind of split it up. So it's not back to back to back to back. If I'm a normal person that, just a normal consumer, like I would say 70, 80, 90% of the customers, they're going to get the 4th and the 6th and the 7th. They're not going to get the 5th. Why? Because the 5th is a VIP email. A full Valentine's Day, start to finish, This was just an email that was sent to that list, to the VIP list, essentially just saying the normal sale a day prior, so they get early access. This was an early access email, so that's what it was. Now, obviously, that kind of split it up. And by the way, for anybody who bought any type of product on the 5th or the 4th or the 2nd anytime, we exclude them from the list. Anybody who has bought a product in 30-day period, that's who we're going to exclude. Now, if you know that your buying cycle is, let's say, for example, 45 days, you're going to exclude anybody who has bought from your product in the last 45 days. You make it a little bit shorter if you know, like you can make some emails that go out to people if it's a little bit before, just to get it, top of mind again. But go to rule of thumb, if your buying cycle is like 45 days, exclude people in your list in the last 45 days. If it's the last night, if your buying cycle is 90 days, then exclude people that have bought from your product in the last 90 days. Now, that being said, on the 6th and the 7th, back-to-back emails, a full Valentine's Day start to finish. And on the 7th, the holistic approach Valentine's Day, which is a customer journey. Again, I'm not going to go too deep on what the emails contain, but it's essentially a sale, just saying there's a product for every time of the day. Focus, testosterone, etc., etc. Now, we took a little bit of a break on the 8th because we know that that 5 emails back to back. That's going to be tough, so we took a bit of a break. And on the 9th, we went back to the sale. Last call for Valentine's Day sale, holistic approach and priority shipping. Now, specifically what we did is we said clearly, hey, you're going to get priority shipping. That's the way you're going to get your products on time. At least that's what we planned for. And number 2, this was the last sale for Valentine's Day to get your products on time. Now, the sale was still technically open for people who wanted to buy, but it was the last day to get your products on time. Now, on the 14th, I'm going to break that down, but of course, we actually did have another sale for that day, but I'll break that down in a second. On the 11th, Valentine's email, don't fear aging, train for it. Another Valentine's email just for, I think this one's for NED support. Then another Valentine's email, one for focus support. So another 2 Valentine's emails. And on the 14th, it's Valentine's Day, celebrate it properly, TRT support, testosterone support. Now, I will say for Valentine, or for sales-based emails, I would highly suggest you do at least 30% of your sales-based emails to be text-based emails. They absolutely crush for the brands. So what we could do, and this is what we did on the 15th. So again, the 14th, we sent like a normal email out. On the and by the way, this was a text-based email, just so you know, like we actually do use them. And on the 15th, it was another text-based email. Now, yes, it was back to back to back, but again, it was Valentine's Day, so you have a little bit of people could get less mad if it's like an actual holiday sale, because people know that, okay, people are, brands are most likely going to be sending me content. So you have a little bit of free pass on the days off. But on the 15th, we did an extra stock warehouse email. And all that was, and I highly suggest you do it, essentially what the email is, it's like, hey, we ordered a lot of stock for XYZ holiday. After ordering the stock, we fortunately did catch up with all the orders, but unfortunately we have a lot of extra stock in our warehouse, and it would mean a lot if you could help us, get rid of it. That's a very genuine message. Make it very, very real. Make it very honest. Make it, just come from the founder, short email, direct to the point, concise. But more importantly, you're not doing a sale. So on the 15th, these type of emails, they get a lot of extra sales without doing a lot of any extra effort. And on top of that, not a lot of extra effort. What I mean by that, you're not have to do another design. But on top of that, you're not doing another sale. So you're going to get a big influx of customers right there, even more than the 14th, even on the actual sale itself at times, without having any type of discount. So just want to let you know. And then the rest of the month, we did normal emails, right? So the rest of the month, Valentine's emails, Valentine's, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the rest of the Valentine's emails, we just cycle through the normal products. So again, they have NAD plus support, focus support, sleep support, and NED support, focus support, and sleep support, if I didn't say that already. So we just cycle through the products, and that's what you gotta do. And just so you could see some of the ideas, some of the content we do for these brands is like the sleep architecture, the 4 stages of sleep. So this email we did, we said, here are the 4 stages of sleep, your REM sleep, et cetera, and actually do research. Don't guess, have a good copywriter doing your research. We did 1,200 hours of research, so you don't have to. So this one was, I forgot for what product it was specifically, but essentially saying like, hey, this product had this many, hours of research. And this is a great thing you could do for your own brand. If you did a lot of research, or you put a lot of effort into it, and by effort I mean tangible effort, like you went to this many stores, you talked to this many factories, you did this, or even you have this many ingredients within your product, like let's just say some type of yogurt has like billions of probiotics, more than most CPG brands out there, say that. Make a whole email around that. Your low T result, don't panic just yet. Just say, hey, if you have low testosterone, don't panic yet. Here's some of the things you could do. And then the most obvious thing is getting testosterone support. Everything to know before starting NAD plus support. So this is for people who, again, we want to introduce people to their brand. All these emails are specifically to get people to buy for the first time. It's not really retention based anymore. Again, there's context to everything. I've said in another video, one of the most valuable lessons I've learned is knowing what the strategy is, or not the strategy, but what the goal is for that brand. And for the goal for this brand is knowing what do they actually want. And for them, it's new customers, not really retention. We're going to focus on that in the next maybe like 4 or 5 months. But right now we want to get as many new customers as possible that are already in their email list. So get specifically to try other products. But anyways, going back to it, everything to know before start NAD plus support, kind of answering those common objections. The support behind your sleep matters. That's on the 25th. Just saying, hey, sleep is extremely important, and it's not just, you close your eyes and you rest. Here are the things, the pre-work you could do to have a better night's sleep. And then your sex life, yeah, it gets messy as you get older. And then we include the testosterone support email. And as you're going to notice, we're cycling through the products. So this is what a calendar is. Just to wrap it up, again, we're sending 3 to 4 emails a week. We did 1 VIP email, 4 sales-based emails, and then the rest of them were mainly value-attainment content, except with the exception of this one. It was more of like a brand update email, which is still technically value-attainment, but it was surrounding the sale. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to show you one more calendar just to break down 2 more things I want to show you, just to give you as much value as possible. Let me pull it up. Here we go. So this is for another direct-to-consumer brand. I'll be very quick with this one, but I wanted to point out 2 things. Smart use of resends. So what are resends? You're resending an email campaign, and re-engagement campaigns. Now these 2, especially re-engagement campaigns, we just started doing, I think 2 months ago it's been, for some of our clients, and they've been, they've been really, really good. I'll put it that way. So I want to break it down. How can you do this for your own brand? I'm going to go through resends first. So again, a resend, it's especially easy on Klaviyo, but all it is just you send an email out. It goes out to your 90-day engage list. You're going to send that same email out to everybody who didn't open that first email. Anybody who did open that email, you exclude them. Anybody who didn't open that email, you're going to send an email to them again. There's going to be a very big disclaimer. You're going to think, oh, the more emails I send out, the better it is. That's the easiest way to piss off people. If you do resends for every single email, because we have done that mistake, I think it was this time last year, went horribly wrong. We pissed off a lot of investors from this specific brand. It was bad. So I don't suggest you do this. Please don't do that. But what I will say, when you use it smartly, how we're doing now, it has a lot of benefits. So when you're doing resends, try to send resends that are doing 2 things. Number 1, either that it's a very important thing that's going to make a lot of sales. That sounds super oblivious, but I'll be a little bit more specific with that. If you know that you're going to send a value-attainment piece of content that absolutely crushes, send that, consider sending that as a resend. Right? Consider resending that campaign. So if you know there's a value-attainment email that just absolutely crushes, or on another side, you're just resending an email. So for example, let's just say it's October and you did an email last October that absolutely crushed. We do this for our clients. If we know an email crush and we've been there with them for a while, we'll just resend the exact same email. We'll duplicate that campaign, resend it, and on top of that, it's gonna sound kind of wordy, but we'll resend it again. So again, imagine it's October 2026, but October 2025, we know that this email campaign, it had no discounts, nothing like that, but it's just crushed for our brands. We're going to duplicate that campaign, and we're going to send it out again on October 2026. But we're also going to send a resend of that email. So we're going to send that email twice in October 2026. So value-attainment emails that absolutely crush, consider sending them as resends. Not many, just maybe like once a month, if anything. Just don't do too many. And number 2, sales. Sales absolutely crush, or just important campaigns, like I'm going to break that down in a second, like win-back campaigns or re-engagement campaigns, consider sending them again, but specifically sales-based campaigns. If it's like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, have a resend for those specific emails the same day. If it's a big sale like Black Friday, maybe 4th of July, if it's like big sale, maybe Halloween for some of you candy brands, have a resend that same day on Halloween to go out that same day. For sure on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I'd be a little bit more careful if it's anything but that. So like if it's like Halloween and you're doing a Halloween sale, and let's say for example for shipping, let's just say it's going to be on the 14th, have a resend for the 15th. If it's going to be on the 15th, have a resend for the 16th. So that's what I wanted to break down for you. The second thing is re-engagement campaigns. Now, what is a re-engagement campaign? All a re-engagement campaign is essentially, if funny enough, it's a essentially like a win-back campaign, or a win-back flow rather. So think of it like a win-back flow for people who have bought from you in the past but haven't bought from you in a very long time. Think about that. It's basically that. But what you're doing is you're just sending that as a campaign. Now, why is this important? Number one, you can make it more specific to that time period. So because a flow is going to send out based on what somebody does, not a season or a date. So when you send a campaign, you could be more specific. Like, hey, it's getting a lot. If you're in the UK, for example, and the weather's fairly the same in the whole country, you could say, hey, the weather's getting so much better. We want to let you know that, we consider you a very, very important customer. We care about you. We want to welcome you back for 15% off for this amazing weather we're having. So that's an example. And another reason is obviously it's going to be in bulk. So unlike a flow, it's going to be sent like once every, depending on your list. Totally, it really depends on your list. But let's just say, for example, your win back campaign or your win back flow is firing off every once every day. With one campaign, you could send out what would take the win back flow an entire month or an entire year to do, or 6 months to do in one campaign, as an example. So that's why you do it. And all you're doing is just saying, yeah, basically like, hey, let me tell you who you're going to send it out to first. You're going to send it out to anybody who has purchased your product, but it's been a very long time since. Think of your buying cycle. If your buying cycle, let's just say 30 days, we're going to send this win back campaign at the very, very minimum to people who have bought in the last 90 days and they haven't bought again. That's the key thing. They haven't bought again in the last 90 days. And you're going to send a campaign to them. And you're going to say, hey, it's been XYZ time. Try to customize it to that person if possible. And just say, hey, it's been 90 days, or it's been 3 months, or it's been half a year since you bought our product. We wanted to welcome you back. We know it's tough time. Everything's been crazy recently. Here's your chance to buy with 20% off. For our inner friends, for our inner circle. Enjoy. Those campaigns crush as well. I'll leave it at that. So hopefully you guys took some value of it. If you want me to make another YouTube video of me building a campaign calendar, I'll do that. Last time I did it, it's so funny. I did right there. It's so funny. I could do it again. I was looking back at that when I was kind of sloppy, so I'm happy to redo it again. But hopefully this helps. So God bless you guys. Talk to you soon. Hopefully you got some value. And Jesus Christ is alive. He loves you and he cares for you. And I promise you, if you let him enter your life will be a million times better. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's going to be better because you're going to have peace in your heart with God. So love you guys. All love. God bless. Bye.